Greetings, this is Sha'Maia-NEAAF with some Metatronic, i.e. full light, insights for you today on December 7th, 2017. This Light Cyber magazine is part of my ongoing video presentations within the scope of the New Earth Star Inner Academy. I created this Inner Academy as a vehicle for over 40 years of my Akashic source translations and Thoth transmissions. You can read and watch more of my work by going to newearthstar.org. It is the launchpad into my various blog sites. If you are watching this on YouTube, just click on the links in the window below this video. You may also wish to subscribe to my YouTube channel. This is the first edition of Metatronic Insights. I'm trying this out to see if I can kind of encapsulate a lot of different topics that I would just speak about briefly in one video, because these are things that are really too small for me to do a special video on and then put that video embedded and etc. etc. They kind of pass under the wire because I just don't have the time to do that. So I thought, well, these are topics that I think you'd be interested in if you follow my work and sort of resonate with it. So I'm going to just look at them. These are things I found on the web and give my commentary from the Thothic stream perspective, and then move on to the next one, sort of a magazine, you might say, a cyber magazine. So this is the first one. Let's hope it's not the last one, and we'll see how it goes. So we're going to begin with these strange lights, explosions lights, over New York and Utah. Here we have on third phase of the moon, just a little bit of what they're saying here about it in some pictures.
Aurora Borealis. Maybe. We've got videos, still photographs, now coming in from New York. And we've been sharing videos through the past few days in regards to these bright lights, these flashes around the United States, first in Utah, and now we're going to be sharing this original video coming in right now via third phase of moon, breaking news, new video. What are we looking at? Brent's here, and there's strange things going on over the skies, and now it's confirmed. We have the same thing going on over Utah. November 22nd, 2017, and now in New York via this video. And these still photographs, something is going down and something above the skies right now.
Yeah, happening the same day, Blake. This is incredible footage from both sides of the United States.
And so what is it, folks? Well, from my Thothic stream, I'm picking up that it is part of the Pyramidus Radius matrix and the workings that are going on in there now. Now, the interesting thing is, and kind of difficult to discern, but there are things going on with HARP and all of that that are causing strange things in the sky as well. Of course, the HARP is it's almost like you're seeing right now what my Inner Planes mentor Thoth Hara told me, gosh, back in the 1980s, and that was my cat, sorry, and that was that there would be the division of worlds. There would be two worlds, and as this formed, these consciousness worlds, one would gravitate toward the entropy of the planet, and the other would gravitate that's a hard word to say, gravitate toward the what we're calling the ascension of the consciousness and light codes of the planet, along with the planetary genius into what Thoth calls the New Earth Star reality. So some of these crazy things in the sky are the heart people, and that's the one world that they're trying to create and bring about. And then we have the Pyramidus Radius activity, the main matrix that is forming now, and they are creating energy elementations that will help us move into the New Earth Star consciousness. So which path do we choose? That's up to the individual, what they choose to sink into and feel and experience. And of course, it has to do with the awakening concept. How awake are you to your spiritual path, which is a part of the spiritual path of the whole planet. And we're not speaking about religions here. We're going far beyond that. So according to what I'm receiving, these particular lights in the sky have to do with the Pyramidus radius. Now, this is a video I made on that some years ago, and I'm just going to play a small part of it for you here. And so the Pyramidus radius matrix is not a point on the planet or an area on the planet like we're used to for a grid, a grid associating, it's laid out on the earth. This is in the heavens, so to speak. It's a projection of a dome, you might say, of energy consciousness around the planet. Now, it's not something that is received by everyone, and you don't have to be in a certain place to get it. It has to do with the frequency in your brain that is commanded by your spirit soul register that opens you to receiving, to connecting to the Pyramidus radius matrix. That said, these phenomena that are going on in the skies are not shows. They are part of the recalibration of these energy zones because on this video of the information I was given that prompted me to create this video some years ago, I was receiving from the Thoth stream that there would be actual holographic pyramids forming inside this dome around the planet. We would see them first like phantom energies, phantom energies. And we would attempt to touch them or feel them or go inside them and they would disappear. But eventually they would form in a more solid way, solid to our reference. We're moving toward a different field or zone of materialization. So the two shall meet at some point and we shall be locked in to the Pyramidus radius. We can enter these pyramids in which we will receive vast amounts of energy, of consciousness, of knowledge, wisdom. Well, wisdom is a product of all the others. And we go through a process with this to prepare us for the newer star reality, the 4444 Stargate ascension modality into that realm. Those persons who are not ready for that, who are not choosing that reality, would not be experiencing the locked-in zone of the Pyramidus radius matrix. Not because they were left out, but because they left themselves out. Right now, just about everybody's experiencing it. They're all seeing the lights in the sky. They're seeing these things because it's on the level that everyone can see and feel and touch, so to speak. But it will when it gets into its locked-in mode, I'm going to call it that, they won't be seeing these things. They might be seeing some after effects of it, but they won't be involved. Those who choose to be involved, not through a belief system. I mean, you don't ever have to have heard what I'm saying about this, what Maya says about it, what Thoth says about it, but through your inner core being. You could be deaf, dumb, and blind, never heard of anything, metaphysical, new agey, nothing like that. And you would, if you were in the vibration of your central being, you would receive the Pyramidus radius. You would see it. You would experience it. Those people who are, blind or deaf or whatever, at the time of this locked in experience, they're going to start seeing and hearing and feeling only a very highly attuned level. But they will be within that dome, I'm going to call it, of the Pyramidus radius matrix. And it's not a dome that we can quantify in our current material existence. It's beyond that. And so the phenomena that I shared with you that was on the third phase of the moon is part of that organization of energies and experience. It's also triggering, when you see it, it's triggering in the individual either the need to connect to that reality or to shun it, depending upon where they are in their spiritual referencing. Whoops. Now here we have an article. There's an ad that keeps trying to pop up, so I'm not going to scroll down the page because it will be extremely annoying. But this is talking about a monstrous planet that should not exist. A giant planet so disproportionate that it should not exist according to the theory of planet formation has been, oh my gosh, there it goes again, has been discovered around a small distant star. The new research detailing its discovery was presented for public publishing in the monthly notices of the Royal Astronomical Society. The existence of the monstrous planet NGTS-1b defies the theory of planetary formation that affirmed that a planet of this size could not be formed around such a small star. Well, that's the gist of it. And why I'm bringing this up is because from my Thoth extreme, I've been receiving for years that we would begin to find things and see things in the heavens that shouldn't be there, according to our scientific established knowledge of the time, but also because even if we had been able to find it at that time, which we wouldn't have been able to, we would not see it. What I'm trying to say is that our consciousness is expanding, and as it expands, our holographic universe expands. So what we're seeing and feeling now, oh gosh, what we are seeing and feeling now in the universe, what we are attempting to understand in the universe, what comes before us to delve into and try to put into some rational science, all of this is, I'm going to have to get off this page while I'm talking about this. Sorry about that, very annoying, but these sites have some very interesting material, and yet they're so covered with pop-up ads and loud, things that it's difficult to navigate them. In any case, that we would be seeing and attempting to reconcile our understanding of things far beyond our ability to know. That would be something we know from the past, from 20, even 30 years ago. We wouldn't be able to comprehend it, so we wouldn't find it. There's the story of the natives on one of the islands of Hawaii, and when Captain Cook first approached the island for the very, very first time, and he had that huge ship with all those masts and sails and everything. It's still coming up. I'm going to have to close that window. Okay, it's gone for good. And so as Captain Cook approached the island with that huge ship, the natives could not see it. it was well within range of their eyesight to see the ship, but they could not see it because it was not within their realm of comprehension. Now, people are equating that they saw it, and yet, because they couldn't comprehend it, they just blanked it out. But no, according to what I received, they couldn't see it because it actually was not there for them. They were in another level, state of awareness, which is a true dimension. It's a special kind, it's a specialty dimension, it's a special kind of dimension. But nevertheless, awareness creates a dimension. Now, when they were able to see it was when certain people came to the island off the ship and they started talking to them. They experienced these people and suddenly their consciousness expanded. And then they could see the ship. So it's not just that it was something strange. It was an energy experience that they had yet to envelop. So when we go back to these planets, these giant planets that shouldn't be, by all known science, rotating around these tiny little suns and all other kinds of things, it's not that we necessarily got the science wrong. Within the awareness matrix that we operated at the time, when we move and expand our awareness, our holographic universe expands and changes. And the laws change. Maybe not all of them, but some of them do. And eventually, if you expand it enough, maybe all of them would. There's also another article, which I can't bring up on the screen because it's got all these loud pop-up videos coming up, but I will tell you about it. And that has to do with thousands of organisms they're just now finding. It's like, where were these organisms before? And all of a sudden, there they are. They're little tiny microbes and things, but they couldn't find them before. I mean, they didn't know they existed, and bam, here they are. And they're saying that they don't fit in any known category that they're used to. So here's another example. But we're preparing, as our consciousness expands, to accept our new pure gem bodies, the crystalline body forms. They'll look pretty much like they do now, only they'll shine, glow, do all kinds of neat things. I'm just kidding. Well, not really. I mean, they will, be more enhanced. But the point is that we're going through these phases of expanding our awareness, and as we do, we're expanding the envelope of our actual experience, its existence, its science, and even understanding who we truly are as light beings. And so talking along the same lines of creating these specified dimensions with our awareness, here we have a discussion by William Henry, I believe his name is, on that relates to that. He's talking about the Ark of the Covenant device is beyond our comprehension. Well, it certainly is. I've listened to quite a bit of his material on it, and he has some very good material. He's researched well, and he's come up with some interesting things. Some of his conclusions, my Thothic streaming does not agree with. Not all of them, but some of them. But he's brought up some really well-documented information. So, but this little piece here, I just wanted to play for you.
Gods want to know, and here's our initiate here in the center here being escorted to the throne of Osiris. What the gods want to know is, how light-hearted of a person are you? So, as a matter of fact, according to the ancient Egyptians, Judgment Day is every day. We live Judgment Day in every thought, every breath, every moment of our lives, because we always have only two choices in how we're going to view the world out here. We're either going to put more love into the world or more fear into the world. And it, dependent upon which choice we make is what the world reflects back to us. So the ancient Egyptians were literally obsessed with this concept of making sure that their thoughts were in as highest alignment with their highest self as they possibly could be, because they knew that if they were able to successfully go through this process here, when their heart here is weighed against the feather of cosmic truth, that then they could continue on their spiral of evolution.
Okay, I'm going to pause there for a moment. Spiral of evolution. Indeed, that is absolutely true. However, when we move into the New Earth Star experience, reality, world, which is a world system 2, is according to Thoth. World system 1 is where we are now. World system 2, while it's still duality, it's a very refined state. We have no idea what balanced harmonic duality can be. We're thinking, oh, duality is this awful thing, we've got to get rid of it. We have a very imbalanced duality. It's like having a thymus gland that's all out of sync, and you think, ew, I got to get rid of this thymus gland. No, you just want to balance it. Then you have a really smooth operative that is intended for you and helps you to experience awareness on a higher degree. Yes, eventually we'll go beyond duality, but not now, not in a long time, because we need to first perfect duality, and we're a long shot from doing that yet. So when we move into the refined duality world system 2 stage in our New Earth Star experience, we will then go toroidal. We will no longer be operating on a spiral, but a toroid. You can tell Maya has trouble with words. Anyway, and in that toroid, we will experience our pathing in a much different way. We won't be spiraling in and out, down and up, or over and under. We will be continually moving, but it will be an oscillation that carries us through frequency dynamics into higher realms of experience without having to move in and out of cycles as we understand them. So I found this particularly interesting. Now let's see where else he carries us here.
If their heart weighed more than the feather, it was back to diapers. And they got to do it all over again. The ancient Egyptians believed in reincarnation. And their fundamental principle was that our lives are spent on a cycle of evolution, a spiral of evolution, actually. And we're constantly moving upwards on that spiral. And every breath that we take, every moment of our lives, could or should be focused on our soul's highest development, our ascension of our soul, as a matter of fact. So,
okay, pause again. Yes, we won't be going through reincarnation in a world system 2, in the New Earth Star. We will be experiencing different forms in life consciousness. And since it's a realm of manifestation, we manifest the bodies or the energy vortices that appear to others and ourselves as we need them, as they flow into the divine directive of our inner core experience. So we won't have to go through that cycle of reincarnation, and we won't go through that cycle of forgetfulness and having to essentially learn everything over and over and over again. So this is good. There was one other thing he said here that I wanted to comment on, and I've forgotten what it is now. So we will continue.
in the Egyptian motifs here, we see it plainly illustrated where the initiate is waiting for the outcome. And if the heart weighs more than the feather, here's the recycling program right here.
Oh, I remembered what it was. Right now, when we work on self, we need to work on self to get where we're going, to get into that vibration as highly as we can to promote what we need to promote for our own spiritual evolution, but also for the spiritual evolution of others. Because if we can extend our vibratory field, we can help those who are on the edge feel that vibration and move into their own as well. So this is important. However, how do we get there? Well, we have been working through meditation yoga, um, you know, what's that, birthing things and all of these things to try to feel and touch and experience these. These are all good. They will continue to be good. However, we're going to find, according to what I'm receiving, that more and more we will have quantum epiphanies, quantum experience, where we are unconsciously going through these systematic searches, our soul is, for the vibrational frequencies we need to multiply our internal fields of light. And we are not doing this through meditation. We are not doing this through yoga. We are not doing this through listening to a guru. We're not doing this through any of these ways. And these can help that. It can help to sustain it and balance it. But that's not where it's coming from. In the olden days, it was elicited from those revenues of spirit. But now we're moving into a zone where we're already in that function of seeking out these zones subconsciously, in our inner sleep time, in our quiet time, even in our work time, because there's a separate zone that's beginning to develop in our energy systems that allows for that. Now, this is not saying, oh, well, I can do anything I want then, I'm going to get there. No, it's not saying that. But what you do in your everyday life quantumizes in this field of light within your being that is seeking. And if you're sitting around watching horrible horror shows and eating tons of hamburgers and, Pepsis and all of this stuff, you're clogging that whole system down. You're not going to have that search very much at all. So you have to live right, eat right, be right in a lot of ways. You don't have to be perfect, but you have to be seeking those zones and carrying out these functions. And that can include meditation and yoga and all of this. This is all good for that. But even if you say, oh, I just can't do the yoga, I just can't do the meditation, there are other ways. And before there weren't that many other ways, but now there are. And the other ways are coming through natural living experience more than they were before. That's a huge topic, so I'm just touching on it here. We might do a whole video on it sometime. But so I spun myself out of my context. Let's see what I was saying here. Well, I guess that is what I was basically just saying, was that we now know, or I know, I believe, that we can experience, that we are experiencing consciousness movements, even when we're not consciously aware of them. And this develops to a point when, boom, all of a sudden we have a transition in our conscious field. And it's an epiphany of sorts, and it moves us into another zone of our core function. And when it does that, we feel very disconnected from what we thought was important to us, what we thought we were doing, what we thought. And now we're being more. We're being. And as we be, we have to develop new ways to express it and feel it and think about it, but on a higher level of that paradigm. So that's why people are going around, especially those who are seekers, consider themselves seekers and are, going around saying, well, yesterday that was it, and now today I just feel so disconnected. I don't know if I can continue with that, and so this is what's happening. Now you can have a smoother ride if you are aware of it to some degree. It doesn't have to be in the language I'm presenting it here, but in some degree you're aware that you're moving through these zones of self-realization in a bigger way, a broader way than could be accessed in the days of Yogananda's self-realization and all of that was beginning. It's not to say that the order of self-realization can't perpetuate this in a grand way, but the point is that we have moved beyond some of these original designs, not because we're better than the masters were when they were creating them, but that we're able to experience them. We're able to receive them in a higher dimensional form, even if we haven't been meditating daily, even if we haven't been doing yoga and all these other things that help us do that. Again, they are helpful. They're still good. I'm not putting them down. But I'm just saying we're moving into a state now where we can access more freely in other ways. So don't close the doors. Don't say, well, this is the only way I can find realization, self-realization, or awareness of of the whole is to go through this path and this path and this path, and that's it. These old textbook forms. No, there are new ways, and these old ways can help us, but the new ways are liberating more people who simply couldn't seem to find a way to direct their attention or perhaps their physical bodies into those more ancient forms. So let's take the whole picture, is all I'm saying. Not throwing anything out, but just taking the whole picture and seeing where we can move forward. Okay, so I imagine this concludes, as I should say, the first edition of my Metatronic Insights. I don't know if I'll continue this or not, but I'm just trying to bring in various things that really I feel are of interest in a concise video. I will still continue, of course, with my longer videos that stick to one subject. So you can look for those as well. Follow the links below in this below this video if you're on YouTube, and it will get you where you hopefully wish to go. Thank you so much for listening.